Right friends, welcome back to 19th revision session, and yesterday we produced various items pertaining to Indian geography. Like that we will have around 3 more, and one most probably we will have on Thursday or Friday, and 2 more geography lectures we will have next week, because the preparation of maps is taking a lot of time, and without maps you cannot understand geography properly. So, keeping that in mind, geography is being produced with maps, and maybe on Thursday or Friday we will have next session. And if you look at this session, I have taken some issues and some I might have covered already, but I would like to tell you in finer details, because in the examination having the finer details in your mind is very important. Otherwise, there is every possibility that you may commit a mistake. So, have clarity of thought. If I say participatory notes, you should have clarity of thought. If I say GAAR, then also you should have clarity of thought. At the same time, Masala bonds, people talk about Masala bonds, but there are some aspects which must be kept in mind. Like that, today I will discuss some of the points. Let us look at the first point of oil spill. There was a collision of LPG tanker with a fuel carrier off the coast of Kamarajar Port Limited in Ennore. Please look into this. Yesterday I discussed about ports. This is Kamarajar Port Limited, Ennore, near Chennai, and Chennai port is already there. And if you go down, Vivo Chidambaran port or Tuticorin port is there. And if you go towards Arabian side, new port is announced, NIM port. So, NIM is yet to take place or is yet to come up, but it is in Tamil Nadu only, please do not forget, and it is towards Arabian coast, and these 3 towards east coast, that is Kamarajar, Chennai as well as Vivo Chidambaran or Tuticorin port, right. So, this Kamarajar port, there was oil spill, and cleanup operation has attracted lot of critical comment, and the same story in our country we have seen for Bhopal gas tragedy of 1984. At the same time, mercury contaminated site of Kodaikanal after the thermometer factory, then DDT laced soils of Hindustan insecticides in Ellore, Kerala. And if you look at the action plan, there is one national oil spill disaster contingency plan, very important. There is one national oil spill disaster contingency plan, and this is monitored by Indian Coast Guard. Please do not forget, national oil spill disaster contingency plan is monitored by Indian Coast Guard. Then here pollution response equipment for all the major ports, and at the same time 26 non-major ports are funded to the extent of 50% by the center. Then it is the responsibility of the ports to contribute to the other half. So, these are the present guidelines as far as this oil spills are concerned. And if you go ahead, I would like to introduce new word, bio-remediation, and here you see it is the process of using various organisms. Various organisms will be used like bacteria, and they remove contamination from the waste. Normally this form of waste remediation uses no toxic chemicals. What are being used here? So, please understand carefully, bio-remediation, that is the process where naturally occurring bacteria, at the same time naturally occurring fungi, at the same time naturally occurring plants are used to degrade substances that are hazardous to human health or the environment. So, here these microbes, that means bacteria or fungi or plants, they are used to clean up the contaminated water or contaminated oil or contaminated organic matter, and ultimately they will convert them, and carbon dioxide and water is let out. And there are 2 things basically which you should not forget. One is phytoremediation, second one is rhizoremediation. One is phytoremediation, second one is rhizoremediation. What is phytoremediation? Phytoremediation is the technology which uses living plants to clean up soil, air and water. When living plants are used, that is known as phytoremediation. And at the same time, don't forget, phytosanitary is used. In agricultural products, imports and exports, we quite often come across phytosanitary issues. Phytosanitary issues are the issues concerning pests in agricultural products. So, here phytoremediation, this refers to the technologies that uses living plants to clean up soil, air and water contaminated with hazardous chemicals. And other one is rhizoremediation. Rhizoremediation is the process where microorganisms degrade soil contaminants, right. So, this is the difference between phyto, rhizo. Phyto means plants are used, rhizo means microorganisms are used for degrading the contaminants, right. What are the advantages of bioremediation? I have given here. The biggest advantage is it can be carried out at the pollutant site itself without transporting that pollutants to far off places. And another thing is it can also be used to clean up oil spills. And here the success depends on having the right microbes at the right place and with the right environment, right. Every project needs to be custom designed, operated and maintained. Let us go ahead. Panglong agreement, this is in the news. So, if someone talks about Panglong agreement, please do not forget Myanmar. In Myanmar, there are several ethnic groups, and in the year 1947 or so, or you can say in 1940s, Aung San, the leader which is famous in Myanmar in those days, he signed this, he is instrumental in signing this agreement of Panglong agreement, that is on 12th February 1947, and there were several ethnic minorities in Myanmar, and to bring them onto the common platform, to instill confidence in them, this Panglong agreement was signed. But subsequently what happened? The military which has taken over the Myanmar governance since 1960s has not given the required autonomy to the ethnic groups. So, they have taken up to the arms. So, ethnic groups is the major problem in Myanmar, and now also meeting is going to be conducted, that is a Panglong conference. So, Panglong agreement, Myanmar and genocide day Bangladesh, these things please do not forget for our neighboring countries, right. So, I have given the details here, and 12th February is celebrated as Union Day to commemorate the signing of Panglong agreement. So, this much is enough. So, Panglong means, please do not forget Myanmar. Then Dhanush artillery guns, and before learning about it, please do not forget India recently signed a deal of 145 ultra light howitzers for $737 million from BAE Systems. We discussed last week this 2 of the 145 M777 ultra light howitzers already landed in India. I am talking about this M777 ultra light howitzers. Government signed an agreement for $737 million with the American firm, and the first 25 guns will be imported and the rest 120 will be assembled in India with artillery manufacturer BAE Systems selecting Mahindra as the business partner in our country. And here these are sorry, here these are 155 mm artillery guns, and I have given here what are the advantages of this 155 mm artillery guns. Their range is quite high. They have a strike range of 24 to 40 kilometers depending on the ammunition used, and they can be airlifted to high elevated areas of Ladakh or Arunachal Pradesh, and they are made of titanium. That is why they are having lesser weight. They can be airlifted. So, these are the advantages of this howitzer guns. So, this agreement is with BAE Systems of America, that is one part. And let us come back to the present issue, this Dhanush artillery guns, and these were paraded in the Republic Day parade also, and these are indigenously made guns, and here this gun carriage factory of Jabalpur made them. And here the one important aspect is, though they are indigenously made, some technology transfer took from the Bofors, and please do not forget, in 1986 around 400 numbers of Bofors FH-77B 155 caliber howitzers, 39 caliber howitzers were purchased for a value of around 1500 crores. Subsequently, it ran into problems which was popularly known as Bofors scandal, and it became highly controversial subsequently. And using the document produced by the Swedish firm, they produced some document running into thousands of pages under technology transfer agreement. Based on that, Ordnance Factories Board of India developed it indigenously. That means by taking the technology transfer, whatever is available from Swedish firm, they manufactured these artillery guns, and these are named as Dhanush. Right? This is the history of Dhanush, and they were manufactured at Jabalpur. They are being manufactured at Jabalpur, and they are going to be introduced shortly. And these two are basically the high range guns. You can say 155 high range. The range of this varies up to 40 kilometers or so. So, this Dhanush, at the same time howitzers, these two are potential questions from examination perspective. So, Dhanush, please do not forget. At the same time, I have already explained you about this M777 ultra light howitzers, right. So, this is all about this. Then March 6 was the last day of the oldest aircraft carrier of Indian Navy, INS Virat. Andhra Pradesh government wants to convert it into museum, but central government, it wants funding from central government, and the issue is yet to be settled, and leave this aspect. And if you look at INS Virat, which was decommissioned recently, if you look at INS Virat, it was originally HMS Hermes, commissioned into British Royal Navy in 1959. India purchased it in 1986 and commissioned it into the Indian Navy as INS Virat in May 1987, and decommissioned on March 6, 2017. And if you look at it, this is INS Virat which was decommissioned, this is INS Vikramaditya, and this is the only aircraft carrier in service in our country at present. Please look into this. INS Vikrant was decommissioned in 1997. INS Virat was decommissioned in March 2017 recently. Now, INS Vikramaditya, this is the only aircraft carrier in our country in service, do not forget. Then scientists of USA have successfully implanted world's smallest pacemaker named Micro Transcatheter Pacing System, or TPS. So, this is used for the patients suffering from bradycardia. What is bradycardia? Bradycardia is the slow heart rate. The slow heart rate usually lesser than 60 beats per minute. So, patients suffering from bradycardia have lower heart rate, and their heart is unable to pump enough oxygen rich blood to the body during normal activity, and pacemakers are used basically to restore the heart's normal rhythm and relieve the symptoms of sending the electric impulses to the heart to increase the heart rate. So, this pacemaker, world's smallest pacemaker, was made by USA scientists. Then please look into this picture. Then if you go ahead, Japanese mission to clear space junk, though it is failed, please do not forget, Japanese made an effort to clear the space junk. Lot of space junk is there, over 100 million pieces of garbage are whizzing around the planet, and now these could pose risks for future space exploration. So, Japan's tether, please do not forget, Japan's tether, This is with an intention to clear space junk from Earth's orbit. How to clear space junk? The purpose, or you can say the mechanism, is slow down the orbiting rubbish. The rubbish which is being orbiting around the planet will be slowed down, and subsequently it will be brought into the lower orbits. When it is brought into the lower orbits, what will happen? It will itself burn off after entering the Earth's atmosphere. Though the experiment failed, but please understand the mechanism of this space junk clearance experiment by Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency, right? And if you go ahead, this I told you number of times, but in examination a critical question can be asked on this, and this is set up as a special purpose vehicle. Canara Bank is acting as within PSU Bank, this is being promoted, and here authorized capital of 2000 crores will be given, and government will contribute only rupees 1000 crores. That is one part. Here the centrally funded higher educational institutions. What is the purpose of HEFA? HEFA purpose is basically development of world class labs in IITs and IIMs. What is the mechanism? Money will be given to them and subsequently they have to pay back after development. So, that is the mechanism. This HEFA is a special purpose vehicle. So, these things please do not forget. And Maharashtra approved cloud seeding program, and Sholapur district of Maharashtra, they will be experimented, and silver iodide. How, what is the mechanism? That is very important. Please understand the mechanism, because most of you may know about this cloud seeding program, but if you go into the mechanism, silver iodide is released into the atmosphere, and these iodide particles, these silver iodide particles rise into the clouds, cause the moisture to freeze. Then the particles act as a base for water vapor to settle in. So, what happens? These silver iodide particles will act as a base, and this water vapor will settle onto the silver iodide particles, and the water vapor crystallizes, falls as snow or rain. So, this is the mechanism. Then these things from examination perspective very important, and we have discussed last week. Beyond exclusive economic zone, the lookout is International Seabed Authority. If any minerals are to be extracted beyond 200 nautical miles, then it is the lookout of International Seabed Authority. And we discussed last week, in Indian Ocean some granules are going to be explored by India. So, in that context we learned about International Seabed Authority, and a question can be asked with regard to this territorial waters and exclusive economic zone. Territorial waters, sovereignty of the airspace above and at the same time the seabed below. Ships will be given just innocent passage within the territorial waters. Ships will be given just innocent passage. If you look at exclusive economic zone, the exclusive rights to exploit resources for the nations. India's, if you take India as an example, up to 200 nautical miles, India will have exclusive right to exploit resources, including fish, oil resources, gas resources within 200 nautical miles. But here foreign states can lay submarines, pipes and cables, right. So, this is exclusive economic zone, this is territorial waters. Then Masala bonds, these are rupee denominated bonds which is issued abroad. And here what are the advantages? First thing is, currency risk lies with the investor. If some X from America is investing, currency risk lies with him. If I borrow in dollar denominated bonds, if my currency depreciates, then as a borrower I have to bear the risk. But here when I borrow in Indian currency rupees, then the currency risk lies with the investor, but not the borrower. That is biggest advantage of Masala bonds. Then it helps in internationalization of currency to some extent, and it will expand Indian bond markets. Then it is another way of Indian corporates accessing foreign capital. So, Masala bonds are rupee denominated bonds. So, these are the advantages. So, this is most important aspect, please do not forget from examination perspective. These are additional points about Masala bonds, please go through them, right. So, London Stock Exchange became almost regular practice for this trading of this Masala bonds. Remaining factual information, please go through it. Neem-coated urea, you need not worry about this because last year question already asked. So, this year if at all asked, then you should have all these points in your mind. Now, government increased neem-coated urea production, of course 2 years ago from 35% to 100%. Neem-coated urea releases nitrogen slowly, which ultimately helps in the fertility of soil, and this results in more yields with less usage of urea per hectare. Then neem coating also prevents diversion of urea for industrial use through the black market. At the same time, it also acts as insecticide. It is, however, costly, but it is costly by just 5 to 10%, not more than that. Then 2016 is 1 second longer than expected. This is very, very important issue. 2016 is 1 second longer than expected. Accordingly, the atomic clocks were adjusted with observed rotation of earth. So, if you go ahead, atomic clocks, we use atomic clocks to define a second, and how they are measured in the atomic clocks. This is measured by regular decay of radioactive elements such as cesium, and these are most accurate clocks. This is one part. What is second part? Here modern timepieces are based on Earth's rotation of 24 hours it takes for the planet to complete one spin on its axis. But here the point to note is the planet's rate of spin around its axis fluctuates because of gravitational effects of Earth's moon as well as due to earthquakes and volcanoes, mainly due to push and pull of the moon on our oceans. Due to the push and pull of the moon on our oceans, the spin is decelerated between 1.5 to 2 milliseconds a day on an average. Please understand carefully, because of the push and pull of the moon on our oceans, the spin of the earth on its axis is decelerated between 1.5 to 2 milliseconds a day on an average, and so as to correct this anomaly, the atomic clocks were adjusted, right. So, this is all about this atomic clocks, and 2016 is 1 second lower than expected, and the technical reason is this, right. Then if you look further from examination perspective, these are evergreen compulsory licensing. I told you previously also compulsory licensing. Here example, this manufactured by Bayer costed a lot, and subsequently it was manufactured through compulsory licensing, which costed substantially less, and Bayer, this Nexavar, Natco Pharma, it manufactured through compulsory licensing, and compulsory licensing, please go through it. Compulsory licensing as per Indian Patents Act can be granted after expiry of 3 years of the grant of the patent when reasonable requirements of public have not met and patented invention is not available to the public at affordable price, and patented invention is not worked in the territory of India. Under those circumstances, compulsory licensing can be granted after the expiry of 3 years of grant of patent. Normally patent period is 20 years. So, after 3 years compulsory licensing can be granted when the patented invention is not available to the public at affordable price. And here TRIPS agreement of WTO also talks about compulsory licensing if certain criteria is met. Then evergreening of patents, this also you can expect a question. Section 3D blocks innovation, incremental innovation is blocked as per section 3D of Indian Patents Act. If some pharmaceutical firm is coming up with small innovation, small incremental innovation after the expiry of the patent, then Indian government is not accepting. So, section 3D blocks innovation by preventing patent protection on known chemical substances, right. Then special 301 report, please do not forget, special 301 report is released by United States of America that talks about inadequacy of intellectual property protection, and it categorizes countries into two: priority foreign country and priority watch list, and India was categorized as priority watch list. So, bilateral attention will increase concerning problem areas. When the country is declared as priority watch list, then bilateral attention will increase concerning problem areas. And special 301 report is the tactic engaged by United States of America to put pressure on the developing countries. This is about priority foreign country, but India is in priority watch list. So, if someone talks about special 301, that it talks about this intellectual protection or inadequate intellectual protection in the eyes of United States of America. So, it placed India under priority watch list. Then recently SWIFT has said that it has stopped providing financial services to all the banks of North Korea under United Nations sanctions. So, SWIFT, it is a society for worldwide interbank financial telecommunications, please do not forget, and SWIFT is the mechanism of international messages among banks across various countries. Right friends, we conclude here today's revision part, and we will meet on Thursday morning, and either Thursday or Friday we will have one more geography session and some of the committee's reports that also had to be covered, and some of the important policies and programs I will cover through this revision classes also. And the students are asking about art and culture, I will try what best is possible from my side, right. So, more and more science and technology, ecology, environment issues I will certainly cover in the coming classes. So, totally you will have 30 revision classes, 30 Q&A. Have a nice day. Please do join within few minutes the questions and answers revision, questions and answers discussion class. Right friends, have a nice day. Thank you.